So hi everyone, welcome again to the Songwriting Challenge Studio Music and Lyrics Lab. We are here in the Lyrics Lab with Jeanna Phillips. So I'm going to pass it over to Jeanna.
Yes. Hello. Thank you, Amanda. And that's me. I am she, her, any. My musical Cowboy Bob with Annie Tipp and Molly Beach Murphy was a part of NAMT in the fateful NAMT New Musicals Festival 2020. So that was a fun time, and we can chat about that later. We did this, nailed it, gorgeous. Thank you. Okay, let's do this as quickly as you can, please, in like the next 30 seconds. Can you please put the following answers in the chat? What are you looking at? What do you see around your computer? B pointed out her cat. What else are you looking at? What are you noticing? Be as concrete and use as much detail as possible. Ready, set, go. I introduced that just to sort of activate this part of our brains that I'm inviting us all to use, which is a part of our brains that is noticing and open to the concrete and detail and the everyday. So here's a question for you all, and you can dare to unmute or you can speak in the chat. What effect might concrete detail have on a lyric? What, if anything, might concrete detail bring to a lyric? No right answer. Curious as to what you think. Okay, so we're about to have a listening party, and the purpose of this is to listen to some examples of concrete detail in song. We're going to listen to musical theater songs. We're going to listen to just a pop song from the 90s, and we're going to listen to a song that was written as a pop song but is coming to Broadway soon. So here are the things that I invite you to be thinking about while we listen. What, if any, ephemeral images, feelings, relationships do these concrete lyrics evoke for you? You can jot those down. And I just want to say, as we listen, like, if you want to take notes, that's great. If you want to chat things, that's great. If you want to doodle images, that's great. If you just want to close your eyes and vibe, that's great too. However you feel most sort of embodied while we're listening. Great. Okay. So let's vibe with Suzanne. Why not? This is the 90s pop song. Cool. What were we getting from Suzanne, if anything? Okay, let's move on to Sufjan. And when we talk about Sufjan, I would love to hear, if you haven't chimed in, I would love to hear from you. Okay, what are we getting? What are we getting from Sufjan? Okay, now this is the time where we get to kind of implement all of these juicy thoughts that we have come up with and try this ourselves. So I'm going to model this 5 senses exercise on a song of mine. A song of mine that was from Cowboy Bob but got cut. And it's about, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the setting with you. And maybe the first verse and the pre-chorus, and then we can kind of jam on this together. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm seeing nods. Okay, so I'm gonna pop the first verse and the pre-chorus in the chat. And this is from a woman who is in a situation at she's a woman of color film executive who is always kind of just about to be promoted and never is. She is just recently found out about this female bank robber who robbed banks for 20 years and didn't get caught, and she's feeling like inspired by her. And I'm imagining that she is singing this from her office. So using that, I'm wondering, what might she be seeing? You're sitting in an office, maybe a high-rise office in gorgeous LA. Aaron, you can help us out here. What What is she looking at? Gonna put big windows. What else? Anything else? I'm gonna add lots of white. I think of like the color white. Reflections from glass. Yes, city lights through the window. Thank you. Yeah, feel free to chat. Great. What does she smell? I immediately went to what does she smell? I'm gonna put it to you first. I immediately went to ink from like a Xerox machine. Um, and also maybe that smell of, you know, when you can like smell maybe plaster or cleaning fluid. Thank you. B, plaster or cleaning fluid. Clinical. Great. What does my character feel? Not how, but what does she literally feel? Maybe a burning candle. Ooh, thank you. Great. That's a smell, not a feel. Gasoline from cars. Yes, come on, LA. Okay. All right, let's move on to feel. Now we're really cooking. What does she feel texturally?
I'm gonna say air conditioning. I feel like usually
Yes.
offices are, it's either really cold or really warm. No in
Yeah,
between.
that's right. Okay, what does she hear? Oh, handle of a coffee mug from Feel. Thank you, Sheila. I was thinking, I bet she hears a lot of white noise, like buzzing. Yes, a ticking clock. Whirring of the AC. Ooh, great word, whirring. Let's move on to taste. That's a funny one. What does she taste? Hot, cold, black with cream, coffee, bittersweet taste. Yes. Aftertaste of a mint. Yes. That's so specific. Yes, Aaron, that's so evocative. Water from those tacky styrofoam cups. So rich. This is a rich world. Um, okay. Here's for the next part. The question for you now, and the worksheet says, looking at your chart, which images stand out to you? You can circle them. How could you incorporate them into lyrics? Before we do that, I would ask, and I'd like to model this ever so quickly. The prompt that I have for you is what emotional sensations do these images evoke? What feelings? What does where does she wish she were? Or just looking at these in isolation, like what is coming up? Discouragement. Thank you. I'm just gonna, yep. Thank you, Amanda. Anxiety, loneliness. Yeah. There's this unyielding quality to the smooth surfaces, right? It's like the chair is smooth, the notebook and pen is smooth, the coffee mug is hard. You can't unyielding, something about that is pinging for me. Cool. And then next, I'm not going to model this because you're going to do this all on your own in just a moment. Now you get to jam on your draft, your current draft, figure out if you would like to incorporate any of these details into your draft.
If you go to the NAMT.org/rewriting page and scroll to this event, there is a button that says Lyrics Lab Exercise. You will see the same document pop up for you to be able to, if you want to think about your own song and the specific setting where your character is and go through each sense and type it in that same way.
Okay. So terrific. Here's what I'm going to invite you to do now. This whole workshop is really about your process. It's a space for you to learn about your process, and kind of hone it. So I invite you to do a little free write. I highly recommend you use a pen and a paper for this. I find that it slows down the brain because my brain can only move at the speed of my hand. And the prompt that is just for you is, what was surprising, delightful, challenging about this exercise? Okay. Here's how we're going to do this. The artist can either, you can share your lyric in the chat, you can read your lyric aloud, you can play a demo if you'd like. We'll listen, sorry, rewind. First, I'd like you to share your question, then share your material, and then we'll have the opportunity to give feedback. I want to acknowledge that it is vulnerable to receive and give feedback. This is why we have this very specific artist-led structure, so that you can get what you need from this. And feedback is not a mandate for change. Nobody has to do anything. Even if someone really, really important gives you a note, you don't always have to write to it. And if you are receiving feedback, I encourage you to kind of, as my professor Helen K. White says, cover your wobbly bits, kind of put up whatever protection you need to put up. And remember that this is just a thought someone else had that you can take or leave. That's my disclaimer. So it's time for us to close out. And as we close, first of all, I just want to thank you all for being here in this breakout room together. I learned a lot from you all, and I hope you learned from each other. I invite you to pop a word in the chat that a word from a lyric in someone else's song or one of the songs that we listened to, or a lyric from one of our discussions that is pinging for you, or from our group brainstorm. And then we'll close out. Thank you all so much for your time and your energy and your thoughts. And I think this is when we all get to come back together as one big group.
Thank you so much, Jeanna.